upon. Now, Lady Glenmire, instead of being tossed about, and wondering where she is to settle, will be certain of a home among pleasant and kind people, such as our good Miss Pole and Mrs Forrester. And Mr Hoggins is really a very personable man, and as for his manners, why, if they are not very polished, I have known people with very good hearts and very clever minds too, who were not what some people reckoned refined, but who were both true and tender. She fell off into a soft reverie about Mr Holbrook, and I did not interrupt her, I was so busy maturing a plan I had had in my mind for some days, but which this threatened failure of the bank had brought to a crisis. That night, after Miss Matty went to bed, I treacherously lighted the candle again, and sat down in the drawing-room to compose a letter to the Aga Jenkyns, a letter which should affect him if he were Peter, and yet seem a mere statement of dry facts if he were a stranger. The church clock pealed 2 before I had done. The next morning news came, both official and otherwise, that the Town and County Bank had stopped payment. Miss Matty was ruined. She tried to speak quietly to me, but when she came to the actual fact that she would have but about 5 shillings a week to live upon, she could not restrain a few tears. "I am not crying for myself, dear," said she, wiping them away. "I believe I am crying for the very silly thought of how my mother would grieve if she could know she always cared for us so much more than for herself. But many a poor person has less, and I am not very extravagant, and, thank God, when the neck of mutton and Martha's wages and the rent are paid, I have not a farthing owing. Poor Martha! I think she'll be sorry to leave me." Miss Matty smiled at me through her tears, and she would fain have had me see only the smile, not the tears. Chapter 13. Read by Sibella Denton. For more information, please visit LibriVox.org.